Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, this is Joshua Peters, the phytologist, here with Serena, Southpaw, DeJesus, talking about training and everything else. So first, yeah, welcome to the show. It's great to have you on here.
Well, thanks, Joshua. It's nice to be here too.
No, absolutely. So, just want to give people a little bit of background who may not know about you yet. What got you into martial arts?
So I'm a big nerd. What happened is it kind of went from my love of anime and video games eventually led to my love of mixed martial arts, me being part of the sport. So when I was 5 years old, I'd be playing Tekken and watching my anime and stuff. And so every Friday, I did get my good grades in school. I'd be going to the video store with my dad and renting videos. So I get my anime. He gets whatever he wants. I'm not caring. I want my anime. So I come down one day and I see one of the UFC fights that he has on tape. He's watching. It's Paul Herrera versus Gary Goodridge. So this is how far back we're
Oh,
going.
damn. We're talking like UFC 5 or something.
Yeah. So I see I see Herrera get caught in like something, well, we know now it's a crucifix, but at the time, like he got caught up and he got elbowed to death. I'm like, oh, because I'm a big Tekken person. I play and still play as King to this day. And it looked like some sort of grappling transition that King would do in the video game. After that, I was hooked. I started watching. I watched that. I watched UFC. I watched Pride, WC Wreckage, Elite XC, all of it, because it was just so cool to watch. And then high school ended, and then my athletics ended. I'm like, if I just go to college and work, I'm gonna go nuts. So I figured, you know what, let me be at least an intelligent fan if I'm going to be a fan of mixed martial arts. And I found a local gym I started training at in both Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu, and I just picked up on it so well, and I just really liked it. And then my first grappling tournaments turned into my first Muay Thai fights, and then my love of Muay Thai led me inadvertently, to Thailand, but also then it inadvertently led me to Las Vegas, where I met my friend and hero Roxanne Modafferi, and I trained with her over the summer in Syndicate MMA, and then I had my first MMA fight, and then I just kept having fight camps out in Las Vegas, and then flying back home, and just crazy ass things just led me to stay here in Las Vegas. I've been training and fighting out of here ever since.
Very cool. So it's kind of interesting that you saw sort of this grappling exchange, but that led you towards Muay Thai. So why was it about Muay Thai that had you gravitate towards it?
Um, Multiple factors. I would like to think that I did taekwondo for years as a child, and I did all right at it, and it's just like as soon as I jumped into, because I did both Muay Thai and Jiu-Jitsu at that gym the same day I started, but for whatever reason, I just picked up on Muay Thai easier, so I gravitated more toward that. Like I didn't like say, oh, Jiu-Jitsu and grappling is BS. I mean, it's not my personal favorite, but it's important. It's like your vegetables as a kid. You may not like to eat your vegetables first before you like your chicken or your steak, but it's just as important, because without that other half, you're kind of useless.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I never neglected my grappling, but I do have a bit more fun striking, as anybody who watches my fight see it, which is ironic because my only finish on my MMA record was actually a rear naked choke in my MMA debut, and that was against a jiu-jitsu instructor as well. So that was like even more impressive in my
Yeah,
opinion.
it's kind of wild, but so many people talk about martial arts as a form of expression, and I'm someone who started out with kung fu and then taekwondo for years before I got into doing mixed martial arts, and there was something almost like the infinite possibilities that can happen. Like a slip off to a half an inch can mean a lot more in striking than it necessarily does when you're grappling.
Hmm.
It's like
So yeah,
yeah.
it's like the literal puncher's chance.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so many. There's a show, there's an anime I've been watching because again I'm still about that nerd life called Kengan Ashura on Netflix, and there is a showdown between a Burmese bare knuckle boxer and some other fighter at the tail end. You're seeing these two charge each other, but in their minds they're running through all the possibilities they can do and what could work and what not could work, and how it ultimately led to one winning and one losing. It's pretty much how that is. Like you
Yeah.
have to scratch through all these possibilities in your head as you're going in, and ultimately the better options that each fighter chooses will be the one that wins out. It's really cool, in my opinion.
So I know that you're kind of the journey started like when you started doing Muay Thai fights, and then you had trouble, getting matchups after a little bit, and that's what led you more to pursuing mixed martial arts. Can you talk a little bit about that? What was that like? Like,
Yeah. So
because it's such a small world with women's mixed martial arts, and then it's like you almost have to fight each other, as Mike Tyson said, is how you elevate your lifestyles and as you build yourselves.
yeah. So back east, when I was in this, the circle of people who wanted to fight was small, and I didn't do myself any favors when my last Muay Thai fight, I broke the girl's ribs. I pinned her in her corner and I just launched myself and I got her in the floating ribs. Like I felt something kind of crack. Like when you crack your knuckles, you can hear that kind of
Mm-hmm.
pop. Well, I felt that kind of pop on my knee when it landed. I'm thinking maybe some muscle shifted, maybe I hit cartilage. I don't know. And then a few days later, I find out that I broke two of her ribs, and I'm like, oh shit. And I guess word got out after that because after that, it was way harder to find any Muay Thai fights in my area. It wasn't like a lack of trying. It was a lack of me like not training and staying in shape. And I'm just like, you know what? I got my blue belt. I'm pretty scrappy on the ground if I need to be, and I can obviously throw hands and shins. Like no one, even back then, no one really liked it when I kicked them.
Yeah.
Like my strength, I guess back then, as a youngin, was my strength. Now that I have more technique, well, it's even scarier. But so I decided to go into the end of mixed martial arts instead. I mean, I'm not going to stay stagnant because people don't want to fight me for whatever reason. I have to keep growing, or I'm just going to coast forever, and I don't want that.
And where were you? Most of your original fights are on the East Coast, correct? Because you're out of Philadelphia.
Yes, correct.
That's interesting because I know now, like, I'm located in Maryland, and the DMV area is hyper competitive. We have about
Mm-hmm.
20 super competitive gyms, and the culture here, especially from the early and mid 2000s, was no one was trying to. It was if someone ducked someone, you got like almost blackballed in the community, and
Yeah.
because of promotion. So it's wild that these people would put themselves out for there's, as to say, you're fighting. You're not playing bridge. You're not playing carriage or something. You're fighting. You're
Yeah.
signing a waiver. And that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. And then after a couple fights, some girl gets the ribs broken, and they're like, oh no. And then that led you to mixed martial arts. So what was that transition like for you from sort of a Muay Thai rules fights to then competing in mixed martial arts? Well, like how did the
Um,
training change for you, and
Rule set
what was
was
that
interesting
mentally like?
because
Well, I think we're have a little bit of lag. Still there?
I'm here.
Oh,
I
there
just
you
had
go.
to
Yeah,
move.
yeah, it froze up for a little bit.
I'm here. Yeah, I had to move to somewhere. But the training was different because now I had to enter with shots. Now I have to know how to mix up my strikes to just shoot in because you can't shoot in naked, as I say. You can't be like, here it comes, and like shoot for a double leg or a single leg. Now we're learning how to throw my strikes and how to make those strikes, initiate level changes and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was different. And then wall work was different because in Muay Thai, you don't necessarily have a wall. Maybe if you get into a post, but like the rest is just ropes, which can move, which can lean back, and you can manipulate it. Cage work is radically different because there's not as much give, and the fence, honestly, in my opinion, always favors the grappler because of the bounce that you can get, the initial bounce you get off the cage, you get right around someone's legs. So those were some big differences I had to overcome and start dealing with. But I did all right. But the problem was this: Pennsylvania has really weird rule sets. So when you're in no, oh man,
Oh
you already
yes.
know. So when you're in MMA, you can. It's like if you're three fights, if you're under three fights, or you have a losing record, you have shin pads and these puppy training gloves to fight in.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot kick. You cannot kick the head, and if you take your opponent down, you're not allowed to hit them in the face. My well, what the fuck am I doing then? But in Muay Thai in Pennsylvania, you can kick their head in shin pads. Granted, yes, you're wearing a helmet, which I think is pretty stupid. But I'm also that rah rah, just like
Yeah.
almost doing the Mike Perry, got ready to square up on somebody. But so yeah, that whole thing was weird. I'm like, well, what's the point if I can't hit the face? So it was very weird. The whole rule set was very weird, but all I could do was just really adjust to it. So that's all I did was just work on how to do level changes, work on how to set up things a little better, and that's it. And dealing with cages and grappling on cages. And in that case, Syndicate, MMA, and Roxy were a really big boon to me because I remembered all their stuff for the summer, working on that, and it helped me. Helped me when I got taken down to get back up. It helped me ultimately get the choke I needed. Because if I didn't get that choke in my debut fight, I would have lost that fight.
No, though sometimes you're losing until you win. So I want to talk a couple of things about that. One, is there anything, because Muay Thai has this, thousands of years of culture behind it, and it shows up a little. It even shows up a little bit in the amateur, arena on the East Coast. You're starting to see more now. Like you get like in the DMV area, and especially like Virginia, which is like the Wild West a little bit. You have full rules fights, and mixed martial arts definitely has its own culture. Is there anything you miss from the Muay Thai culture as you transition to MMA, or anything that you appreciated more about one or the other?
I like the spirituality of Muay Thai, like the reverence to your coaches, the whole the Y crew, the everything. I feel like there was a more connected kind of bond, between teacher to coach and Muay Thai, and just the tradition. I miss the tradition, you know, of a martial art, like doing the Y crew, doing the whole thing. And yeah, because MMA, because such a melting pot of all other martial arts, like the traditional side goes away. Like you still have the moves, you still have it, but you don't have the traditional, like, blessings from your coach. You don't have the intricate movements you do. Like, that's all gone. I miss it because to me, it's such a grounded experience. Like when I was in Thailand and witnessing the Y crews and learning the history about like how they're sealing off the ring and blessing it and everything. Like, I personally thought that was really, really neat. You know, I don't get to have a Moncron no more, and it sucks.
I mean, I guess you could walk out with it, but it's absolutely very different, sealing the ring and having your coach remove it from you and saying a little
Yeah.
blessing. I know my
Hmm.
My Muay Thai coach twice just said, go kick this motherfucker's ass. That was his blessing. But um, so one thing I'd like to talk about is you start out in like relatively, from what I understand, a smaller gym in Philly, right? So
Hmm.
two things I want to talk about. One, what was it like, especially as a woman coming in to, what can be a pretty macho sport, even in Muay Thai with the spirituality. Women aren't even allowed in certain rings in Thailand.
Hmm.
If you follow, Sylvie Bonedu over there, and she's written a lot about that. So, what was I guess, the experience and how you've watched it change, starting, in Muay Thai and Taekwondo and Jiu Jitsu on the East Coast in a smaller gym, and then how have you watched it change, and how did the experience change when you finally moved to Syndicate and training with Roxanne Modafferi and a much larger gym?
Hmm. So my experience when I first got in there is like I was like maybe one of two or three other females within our gym. Um, the gym itself was pretty all right because what happened the mentality there is like they didn't really care about who you were as long as you were working. And because I'm such a very nose to the grindstone, just very regimented person, I kind of fit in there well. But I was one of the smallest people there, and one of my friends who's a dude who's like, his name's Rafi, but he's like 6'2" and like 250 pounds. He was my sparring partner a lot when I couldn't get the other one or two late women to work with me. I mean, it helped me overall because if I can get hit by a big dude like that, even if he's not putting all the stank on it, I could take a hit from anybody.
There's still that
And
weight behind it. There's just simple
yeah, there's
mass
still
and
that.
physics.
Yeah, I mean, if I can take that, I can take that from any girl my size. And it kind of was a big character build for me. Um, but as I came out to Las Vegas in the West Coast, I could see there were more girls in the gym, more girls competing. I mean, I've seen other gyms back on the East Coast where they're kind of like a little wary of women in the gym, like they take it easier on them and stuff, which I think personally is insulting. Just because I'm a woman doesn't necessarily mean you got to take it easy on me. You know, it's like I'm here for a purpose. I'm here for a thing. Obviously, if you're like some huge dude like my training partner, you're not gonna fucking whale me. But if you're around my size, I mean, we can hit if you need
Yeah.
to, because we're here to make each other better. But like I was seeing on the East Coast in some gyms, like they wouldn't want to work with the women, or if they did, they kind of like took it easy. I'm like, this is a load of shit. And I got mad at times when I saw that, but if I'm in another person's gym, I'm a guest. I'm not gonna say nothing, even if I don't like it. But when I got to the West Coast, I saw more women in the gyms and everything. I'm like, wow, this is cool. And the training, especially for mixed martial arts, I think was really up there because we have a lot of huge amateur shows based out of here in Las Vegas, like Tough Enough, which is like has a TV deal and stuff, so everybody sees it all the time. But yeah, that's the culture shock between those two are big because in Philadelphia, I'm probably going to catch a lot of flack for saying this, but my personal opinion and in my experience, the training was very fragmented. Like you had to go to one gym for boxing, one gym for this, and one gym for that. Like we have great jiu-jitsu, we got great boxing, we got great Muay Thai, but I feel like a lot of it was fragmented, and we just couldn't bring ourselves together to have a better overall Philadelphia MMA game, which is another reason that led to my departure from the lack of the opponents and just a better overall training camp out in Las Vegas. I just decided to stay. Like, it was really hard uprooting myself. Like, I basically burned all my savings. I might as well just throw a match on that bitch, like, bye, money. And I've never moved so far away from my family. It was just like, it was like halfway across the country now versus like a little ways away. Like if I went to college or something, it was something.
That's an extreme experience, but sometimes say that's probably accounts for part of the mental toughness is we're learning like right now I've been currently trying to teach myself ASL and doing it online and with actually my old principal from when I was a teacher. And it's hard and everyone tell you ultimately you got to throw yourself into it. And so you threw yourself into the fire.
It's a leap of faith. It's a leap of faith. It was just like I couldn't stay in Philadelphia and have myself my career stagnate, which is a disservice to myself and also to my family who's really helped me along the way in my career. Or I'm going to take this heartbreak, but ultimately have this short-term heartbreak, but overall have my career succeed. And that's what it was. It's just like if I fucked up and just stayed, still in my career, there would be no point to it. So.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, my original lineage was directly through my first instructor was Sir Carlson Sr., who termed it's a phrase I hate, but Creante, the traitor. Did you catch any flack for wanting to move out to a bigger gym?
Not at first, because where I went from one small gym to Renzo Gracie, Philadelphia. And then I went from Renzo Gracie, Philadelphia to Syndicate. Now, Renzo Gracie, Philadelphia, I didn't catch any flack for it. But when I went from the other gym to Renzo Gracie, I kind of did. But there was some issues going on. Like there was some miscommunication between me and my coach. And my coach had a bit of an injury at the time that kind of made things a little hard. Like when I thought everything was squared away, he apparently blocked me on social media and then made this post about just bad mouthing me. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to play like this. This is why we'll never mention them, the name of their academy and anything and everything I do is like, if we had an agreement to part ways nicely and then you just went behind my back and trashed me I don't care what's going up in here. I'm autistic. If I have more of an excuse to be an asshole than anybody else on this planet, but here I am keeping it together.
Yeah,
but,
it's crazy how.
Yeah,
because I've had students leave too, and some have left on good terms. They came to me and say, "Listen, they wanted more of a sport approach to jiu-jitsu, or they wanted something else." They came to me, talk 100%. The only time I've ever had an issue with someone is if they basically straight out lied to me. Because at the end of the day, you become friends in martial, especially contact martial arts, where you're punching and kicking or strangling each other.
Yeah.
Because you have that trust, but it is also a business relationship, and if you're not getting what you need, you're not obligated to continue, support someone forever.
Right, and that's the because I'm a nice person. I don't do any dumb shit. I just don't have the energy for it, to be honest. But yeah, it was just like, how are you going to do me dirty like that? So I'm still pretty irritated about that, and that's why I just kind of like don't even talk about them. It's kind of like keep them kind of at arm's distance, but like. Daniel Gracie knew I was going up to Syndicate and have my fights there. So when it was time for me to go, like there was no hard feelings about that. Like,
that's really
honestly,
good to hear.
when I stayed, yeah, and when I stayed in Las Vegas, like honestly, it wasn't even planned, but he knew that's where I was going for fight camps. He knew that's where the girls were, where I was fighting.
Mhm.
Um, and how I landed in Las Vegas and stayed was not honestly wasn't really planned. So this was quite the trip. So I went to so first after my third fight, I fought a deaf woman. It was fun. It was a short bus cage match, as my mom called, and I got to win. I got the winner got to ride the normal bus home. So go me. So I did that, and then but before I left, Misha Tate took me up for a victory dinner because
Oh,
Misha Tate
wow.
was Roxy's coach on The Ultimate Fighter, so
Yep.
that's kind of how we knew each other. And I'm pulling out my wallet, I'm gonna split the bill, do cool. She's like, oh no, it's on me. And I'm like, I'm like about ready to cry. And
Yeah.
what am I gonna do? This woman picked me up in a Range Rover that was a gift to her from the UFC and just took me out to dinner. What can a 3-0 little ass amateur like myself ever give to this woman? So she's about to fight for the belt and everything. So me just like wanting to do something, just blurt out, if you need me to help you get ready for camp, you're fighting Holly Holm, I'll be there. And then
Yeah.
I'm like and then I'm kicking myself in the back of the head like, you idiot, she won't call on you. You're a small fry. Lo and behold, a month later, hey Serena, you want to come train with me for a week? It's the middle of January. I'm like sold,
Yeah.
got my shit together, came out there, had her ragdoll me for a week while I was learning some cool shit. And then in the middle of that, I had Andrea KGB Lee, who was still an Invicta at the time, who was fighting Sarah D'Aleo. She invited me to be in Shreveport, Louisiana for 3 weeks. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I fly on down to Shreveport. And then I'm out there with her training. And then I find out Roxanne is on the same Invicta card in Las Vegas that Andrea's on. So I'm like, oh, I gotta go. So I go to Las Vegas. And so I'm thinking, since I'm there, I'm gonna watch her fight, and then after her fight, I'm gonna try and find a fight here in Las Vegas, and then go back home. Watch their fights. No fights for me. I'm getting mad. Tickets are getting hella expensive to go back home. We're talking about $500 or some shit to go back home.
Holy crap. Well, that is a lot
Yeah,
to go to
right.
Vegas.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh, man, this is some shit. And then my parents are like, Serena, why don't you just stay there? Because I'm living in a fighter house. Like I rent the room and everything, and it also helps cover my gym because the guy who owns the fight house also is at the gym. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I'm like, shit, you're right. And it sucked because all I had in my name was two giant duffel bags, one bag with my normal training clothes, and the other one with all my gear. So literally two giant duffel bags. I just stayed in Las Vegas, just without any plans, and then I somehow made it work to here I
You're
am
like
today.
like Ryu from Street Fighter.
Exactly.
That's pretty awesome. So on that, just what I want to ask is one, how have you seen sort of mixed martial arts and women's mixed martial arts change? Because I've been watching before even Gina Carano was a name in it
Hmm.
from some of the fighters used to hang out on Bushido. Like I went to an old throwdown in New York City that J Lo was still going to when he was sponsored by Bushido. And
Hmm.
the change in how it's evolved is mind blowing. What are some
It
of the
is.
things you've seen change, and what's some advice you might give to say a younger you or other women looking at this saying this is something I really want to pursue?
So I feel like it went from more of kind of like a gimmick to like slash rarity because before they used to in like the fight cards I was in there maybe like one or two female fights, a card or every other card or like now every single card has at least like three or four women's fights on the in the bout order,
Hmm.
which is really nice to see because it means more women are jumping in, more women are doing well. And I've even talked to Roxy about this because when Roxy started, there was no amateur careers. You went straight to pro.
Yep.
And and in these cases, I feel like I'm kind of blessed because I was able to kind of get all the bullshit out the way and learn like the fundamentals to fix myself before I jumped into the ocean, which is the professional level. So if I could have anything to tell a younger me, I would tell them to find a gym that has more all around specialty versus just like maybe one or two because those are the kind of gyms you go to after you get the all around basics. You don't go to a specialty gym, then go all around because you're going to go into the fight maybe having one or two good things, and then everybody who's a jack of all trades will be able to maneuver you. I feel like you should be going to an all around gym that covers all the bases, then go to something that can fix you up, that is a specialty. Like go to if you need to fix up your Muay Thai, go to a gym
This
that
place or
specializes in
that
Muay.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I would tell younger me and other women getting into the sport. Just make sure you have all the fundamentals down before you hit a specialty gym.
Very interesting. So your last appearance was you got a last minute call up to the Invicta tournament after I think another girl dropped out due to injury or got
Um,
sick or something.
it was
And
I was part of that entire thing, but I went
okay.
from reserves
Mhm.
to bumped up to the main card. So what happened was I was supposed to fight Julia Adelino. Well, me and
Mhm.
her were supposed to be a reserve bout. Then 4 girls dropped off for whatever reason. So ultimately, the week of the fight, I got bumped up to main, and it was really neat. I'm like, I was ready the entire time. I was like in reserves. I'm like, oh boy, I hope someone falls off. Let me get in there and go fuck someone's shit up. And well, I got my wish, and it was neat because the first girl they had me fight, hey, we're cool with each other. Carrie Kennison's really good. She is a
Mhm.
tough nugget. I was. They gave me a 15% chance on Tapology to beat her.
Really, that was
15.
it.
That was it because Carrie Kennison fought Lisa Verzosa, and Lisa Verzosa fought for the title against Julia Storyalenko. And Lisa is kind of reminiscent of a Terminator. She
Yeah,
can
she just
like
marches
glut.
forward, boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
yeah. She doesn't care how fucked up she gets. She's still hunting you, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But so yeah, because Carrie went all the way with Lisa, and I returned off a 19-month injury and lost to Daddy Longlimbs, Tanisha Tennant.
Mhm.
They're thinking I ain't got shit, and unbeknownst to them, I got a new Muay Thai coach who's a OG in his own right, Marvin Eastman,
Oh
and he
yeah.
really, yeah,
I
he
remember
really
watching him
turned my,
fight.
yeah, me too, right? And he really turned my Muay Thai around. Like I couldn't hit people with elbows real well, but then as you probably saw my last one, I'm just cracking everybody with elbows. I'm even using it to negate people's wrestlings and stuff.
Mhm.
And it was great. Like I won the first round decisively. The second round, I think 2 of those judges were playing Fruit Ninja on their phone because I was fresh. I literally did not have a single mark on me after the fight. Meanwhile, my opponent has her ear looking like it's 8 months pregnant, and she's out of breath.
Yeah, it was
And it's just like,
you got shafted at that second fight. That was
oh yeah,
I don't know anyone who
Tanisha Tennant said
yeah.
I did. Kerry Kennison said I won. Hope Chase said I won. Like a lot. You have almost half the
Yep.
roster backstage thinking I won. And I forget who, but somebody actually went up to Taylor and said that she didn't win. I'm like in the lobby with a beer. I'm like, oh shit, am I going to see a fight now? I'm like
Yeah.
looking over. So it was great. It was great to hear.
Like
But I'm not tripping too hard about it because it didn't go on my record, and I still got double the money I would have versus one normal fight that would have gone on my record.
no,
So
absolutely.
everybody knew who won. So I'm not tripping. I'll fight her for a regular 3-round fight because if I can inflict that much damage in 5 minutes, imagine what I'll do to somebody in 15.
So
Simple
what's something you
facts.
took from that fight? Like so with my fighters, as soon as they get out of the cage, unless we're on the way to the hospital, the first thing I ask them is what are 3 things you did right and what's one thing you need to fix. So what's your approach, like what's sort of your mental approach to fighting? Like do you do any sort of visualization? Do you do any sort of review before or afterwards, study tape? What are some of the things you do to prepare mentally for fighting?
I take a quick look at that tape. I don't try to overanalyze it too much because, especially if some time has passed since the last available tape you see, you never know how much they've grown since that last thing. So I take a quick glance and see if there's any glaring things I can manipulate against. But overall, I just tell myself and remind myself I train with 2 women who are in the top 5 of their division of the UFC. I'm with good coaches, and I'm pretty tough in my own right. So I just positive reinforcement for myself, and I just really keep working. Like my mindset to this is honestly chess. All of this is chess, just really fast paced and a little physical.
Mm-hmm.
So I just work on sharpening myself, and I just go for it. When it's fight night, I just get ready. I'm just like, okay, they're gonna hurt me, and that means I'm just gonna have to hurt
At
them
least you're
back.
gonna
They knew what
try
they signed
to.
up for. Yeah, it's like they knew what they signed up for, so there's really not gonna be any, sliver of mercy from me.
Mhm. So you've been a very outspoken within the autistic community. How do you feel that's influenced your fight? 'Cause I know as someone also with learning differences, it took a little bit for me to realize how to harness the different ways that my brain would work as opposed to what, quote unquote normal, whatever that is.
Mhm.
And to be able to use that to my advantage. What are some of the ways you've been able to use sort of your autism in your preparation, your training, or even your execution once you are in the cage?
I'm very analytical, so I think a lot over things, and I kind of like to look for patterns and rhythm. That's kind of my thing. So when I
Hmm.
think I find a rhythm, I'm pretty spot on with it. And the other thing is like before, when I'm backstage, before I started using CBD, I was very ritualistic in like songs I listened to, motions I did to kind of help calm myself before going into the fight. I don't have to do it as much anymore because I can take as much CBD as I want, honestly. Because CBD used to be on the in competition ban list
Yep.
until a few years ago, and then they took it off. So I can just walk in the place and be like, "Yo, it's CBD. Here's the chart saying it's CBD from the lab that tests it." And I'm like, if you need me to print my psyche eval and bring it with me, I'll do that too. But normally everybody knows I'm pretty cool about it, so they just kind of let it happen. And yeah, I use CBD to kind of help calm my nerves. Like I don't have to be as ritualistic anymore. I just focus
Hmm.
on the specific techniques I've been working on, and then just let everything else flow out my mind.
Very cool. So, you got into this routine and schedule of training and recovery and training recovery and whatever, and now we have the coming of the next plane with this COVID-19 stuff. How has that sort of affected your training and your approach, and then also what can we look forward to from in the near future? What's coming up?
So I'm still training with my strength and conditioning coach, Lorenzo, and I'm also training with my Muay Thai coach, still Marvin Eastman. I already have some interesting tan lines from working outside with him. I might have caught a little sunburn, but that's okay. It's always, like I said, it always happens the first day of summer here. Um, but yeah, the routine is off. I'm not on my training thing, and I miss my students most of all that I teach. That's the one killer for me. I mean, I'm able to have more time to run, which is nice. I run here and again with my little brother around our housing
Little
complex.
brother.
Yeah,
Yeah,
little.
yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
16, but he's like 6'2" and like 175 pounds.
I've
Like
seen the
he is,
videos of you two together. It's like Little John and Robin Hood.
yeah. It's like freaking Mario and Luigi, just like, but I'm the little one. And he's like the big, tall, younger one. It's just like this. But yeah, I'll tell you, grappling with him is no fun. But
I can imagine.
yeah, that's what I'm doing. Like the routine is off, but I'm still able to train because when I wasn't training, I was stimming more often. I hate it because
Hmm.
trading, I don't have to stim as much. Like my body may be fried, but like mentally, I'm just like all zenned out and I feel great.
Hmm. I thought so.
So
What's coming up for you in the future? Are you looking? Are you be? Everything's so crazy. Are you looking like to get booked soon? And what's some of the stuff we can expect out of you?
I'm looking to fight whenever it's safe again. Like I know that Invicta's next show is May 29th, but I don't know how if that is going to happen or not, but I'm staying ready just in case. I'm trying to be careful about this whole thing because with COVID, my mom is immune compromised. She had Lyme's
Hmm.
disease and Epstein-Barr virus, so I ain't fucking around with that. Like, like this
I'm in the
whole thing
same
is
boat. My
wild. Like,
parents are in their late
yeah,
70s, and it's
yeah,
you gotta be careful.
it's bizarre out here because in Nevada, it's an open carry state. So I have to say, it's quite the time having a mask and a gun and going into a store and not getting in trouble.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I can't imagine what all the Baltimore liquor store owners are like right now because masks are actually banned in Baltimore, and
Oh
now it's
man, that's
required.
insane.
You
Oh
know,
yeah, I bet that's insane.
you have to have the
But
wire season
that's
too.
basically what's.
So
Oh shit.
if people want to learn more about you or get in touch with you for sponsorships or for merchandise, what are some of the ways they can reach out to you?
Y'all can find me both on Instagram and Twitter at Serena Southpaw. It's all one word. I'm pretty accessible, and I'm pretty easy to get a hold of and talk to. So that's where you'll find me.
Absolutely. Is there any websites, or do you have a place we can order, like, say, T-shirts or the?
Yes, I do have from unknownmma.com sells t-shirts of mine. It's made with Godzilla, in the backers I'm blasting somebody with a kick. They're available in hoodies, t-shirts, even little baby onesies if you got any little
That's
munchkins who
adorable.
wants to have my beautiful face on it.
A
So
Southpaw Godzilla.
yeah, Reenzilla as I'm
Green,
called sometimes.
the
Reenzilla.
Zilly. Oh,
Yep.
absolutely. And it's been absolutely a pleasure talking with you. For people that maybe don't know, we've met twice before. You came to the area for a little bit, and we got to get a little bit of training in. And I saw you and Roxy at Otakon, I think.
Otakon.
Yeah, Otakon
Yep.
in DC, and it was great to catch up again. And I'm
It really
really
was.
glad to hear that you're able to keep training and at least doing something through all this. I know for myself, I'm doing these virtual classes, and it's a little bit of depression having not really been able to see my students as
I
normal.
get it.
It's crazy, but you seem to be doing awesome, and things will look on the up and up. Thank you so
Hmm.
much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me on, Josh. It was nice to catch up with you again.
Absolutely fantastic.